We getting ready. We
and
live.
show creator and coordinator. Okay.
It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop J.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shot Report. I'm Barbershop J. I'll be your host for the day. Here's what's happening. Yeah, I know y'all like that little continuation of the intro. I did a little something right there right quick. We got this feature called auto ducking. I turned the auto ducking off just to see how things will go. I think I'll put the auto ducking on back on again next time. But anyway, the number to call if you're up and around, you're out and about, and you want to give us a shout, it's area code 267-687-0026. That number again is area code 267-687-0026. We got a couple of things on the menu, a couple of items on the menu today for y'all. Just a couple. As always, we got our NFL this week, of course, the week 13, notable team performances. And we got 5 burning questions that we'd like to ask. I'm sure Brother Rich and Double J will love some of these 5 questions. Actually, we started out with 10, but I said, due to time constraints and let's try to, add a little bit more, streamline our structure to the program. I decided to go with 5, and we'll pick maybe another 5 for maybe next week or some other show down the line. But joining me today on the program to discuss these topics are none other than my cap from the NYC, a.k.a. Rucker Park, Brother Rich. Brother Rich, what's happening? Say Cowboys, and I promise you I'm muting you.
Always, I'm just always honored and humbled to be on the show.
Yeah, you say that.
Always blessed to be with you and be with our brother and our friend from Michigan. And, of course, how about them Cowboys?
Yeah, I figured you was getting ready. Okay, you know what? I'm not playing with you no more, man. Because you just really towing the line here lately. You've been really towing the line. And on the other side of the ledger, my cap from up north, Joey James, a.k.a. Double J. Tell the people what you say, man.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills.
Oh, you know what? I'll be so glad. I'll be so glad, man. I promise you all. See, let me explain this to you right quick. Let me just say this to you all. To you too. You too. And the 4 or 5 people that's out there listening to us, we appreciate y'all. But let me say this. I am in the works for getting or adding equipment and software that will allow me to have sort of like retorts to you all's little Stephen A. isms, okay? And so I'd like for you all to know I'm just adding these. I'm just adding them up. It's cumulative. I'm adding them up. But trust and believe, Barbershop J don't forget. So I will have some comeback for y'all. But rest assured, Mr. Green, don't make me angry. You won't like me when I'm angry. Do you all want to start with the questions, or would you and Brother Rich and you and Double J like to, go back and forth? My buddy. Y'all need a soliloquy moment or what? Do we need that or no? We ready to go?
So we're honored to be invited to be a part of this platform. You run this platform. Whatever you would have us, you and Jerry Jones and the Cowboy Nation would have us do is what we're ready to do, sir.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm going to need you to take them bunny slippers off, man. You got them on the wrong feet anyway. However, here we go. 5 burning questions. This first question is a 2-part question. The first part of this question is, does the success of Michigan's Juwan Howard, Georgetown's Patrick Ewing, and Memphis's Penny Hardaway hinge on being the catalyst for a return to college basketball's quote-unquote glory days? Double J, we'll start with you.
I'm going to actually say yes. The reason why is that, as we've been very vocal about for the better part of 6+ months, is our disdain for the governing body that is the NCAA. And what they needed so badly is not only new blood, but they needed people that, can bring some energy. And essentially, the game was on life support. If you want any type of data to back that up, just look at the NBA's ratings presently. So to have these guys step in without any really previous real opportunities. Again, Penny Hardaway was a high school basketball coach. We know with Patrick Ewing, he's been on the sidelines, as an assistant coach, no different than Juwan Howard for the better part, I feel like, almost over a decade. So their opportunities were more than due, but most importantly here, look what they're doing with them. Some may play the devil's advocate and say, well, Juwan Howard's using John Beeline's recruits, but I'm telling you right now, based on what I've seen and who he's gone up against and how they've taken care of business, it doesn't matter what part of the country or world that you reside from, everyone is hailing that those boys can play. And I'm interested to see what they do here this evening against Louisville.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that Michigan Wolverines basketball, NCAA men's basketball, the Wolverines take on Louisville. Right now, Louisville is up with about 6:15 left to go in the first half, 18-7 over Juwan Howard's Michigan Wolverines. And Louisville is an interesting story too. I don't know the coach's name, but of course, we all know that Rick Pitino was ousted, and this young man here who's coaching the Louisville Cardinals now, there's talk from some of the national pundits is that this guy is not more capable than Pitino, because we know Pitino's track record, when it comes to college basketball. But they say this guy is just as capable of putting. Louisville is ranked number 1 right now, but I'm not real big on rankings. But right now they rank number 1. But they're saying this guy could get him to the promised land, so to speak. So we'll see. But Brother Rich, yeah, you too. The question is to you now as well. The same, that I posed to Double J. Will these 3 men, with the return of Howard and Ewing and Penny, will that be the catalyst for returning college basketball to its glory days?
I absolutely agree with him. And here's the thing. Pull the tape on this program. And this is one of the things about what we talk about on this show, is that we go in, you allow us to go into these kind of subjects. We talked about some of this in terms of what Double J said in our examination of NC2A as a quote-unquote organization, institution, whatever they call themselves. We looked at that. We've been looking at that. Now, here's what we're talking about with these opportunities that these men have. They have the opportunity to do the main thing in college sports, that is recruit. So in each of their cities, Memphis, Michigan, the state of Michigan, in Memphis, the state of Memphis, on the East Coast, and particularly in that Georgetown area with Patrick Ewing, they can recruit the areas, Washington, D.C., so the talent that would normally leave, go to a 4-year college, and especially nowadays where we're coming into an era in college basketball where the better players will not have to go to college anymore. So when you go to college to play basketball now, you're really going to be going as a real you're going back to the days where we grew up, where the Big East, where those weren't one and done. Those guys were actually going to try to get an education. They weren't guaranteed to go to the pros. We can only think of 1 or 2 players from the whole Georgetown era that made the pros. We know Patrick Ewing, but after that we fall off. And, okay, who from that era made the pros? But we remember those teams. We remember St. John's. Remember, Chris Mullin wasn't even that good a pro in terms of today when we think about what he did. But at that time, his team and what Georgetown was, one of my favorite, a New York legend. A lot of those guys on Georgetown, they didn't even make it as successful pros. So absolutely their ability to recruit in the area brings back the mystique, brings back the collegiate atmosphere, brings back the rivalry element of college basketball players, because you got guys that they can actually coach them up now. They don't have to coach one and done. They're really recruiting the area's best basketball player. The guy who can go to the NBA, he's already gone anyway. So, yes, absolutely.
A couple
Brother
things.
Rich, I want to point out you're absolutely right that you had to wait a while there to before you had Allen Iverson come to Georgetown,
Back.
and then you had to wait even further for if we even want to deem him a good pro. But you had Roy Hibbert come out of Georgetown but you're talking about once a decade. But what I like about all of this is this the changing of the guard? Is this the end of the Coach K's, the Roy Williams, the John Calipari's?
Well, after losing to
is this the new generation?
Well, after losing to Stephen F. Austin or whatever they are, as far as Duke's concerned, yeah, that's a big L. But let me say this: Gully's joining us now from the CO Columbus. D. Gully's on the line. What's up, Gully?
Hey, you guys. I'm glad to be with you. I took a tumble off a ladder today, but everything checks out.
Oh, are you okay, sir?
Yeah, I did. I took a tumble. Maybe it knocked some sense into me, Brother Rich. I don't know, but
no, I don't. You've got sense. We're concerned about your health at this point. How are you?
What?
I'm very well, very well. Glad to be back with you guys. Looking forward to getting it on. I see James Barbershop is upset with that or takes issue.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm
that's all right.
I'm going to echo that, Gully. Glad to hear that you're here with us and doing, feeling and doing well and in high spirits.
Yeah, right. Gotcha.
Much appreciated.
Anyway, cry me a river. I'm glad you're okay too. But Double J, stop it, okay? You and Brother Rich, with y'all got to be reading from a piece of paper somewhere, because I'm telling you. This stuff is getting thick. You know what I'm saying? I got my violin out right now. Yeah, and I didn't get your signature line, Double J. I thought you were going to double down on that. Anywho, let me touch, before Gully has his say, let me go back a bit about the whole Georgetown thing. Now, off the top of my head, because I do be having senior moments. Thank goodness I haven't had one yet. But this whole Georgetown idea, I mean, are y'all forgetting Wingate and all of them guys back in the mid-'80s and '90s that came out of Georgetown?
But remember now, no, that's the point. That's the point. We remember them, but they weren't significant pros. Remember this.
Are you
now.
kidding?
Wingate and all of them, they were great. No,
Wingate when he was with
Wingate in terms of
listen, when he was with the Hornets, he was a dog.
Wingate wasn't Patrick Ewing. Wingate wasn't Mutombo. Georgetown.
Okay,
we can think of four
junkyard dog
and players. We can think of Mutombo, Iverson, Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning.
Wow,
we think of them right away.
Wow,
Just
wait till I
stretch your mind to think of the rest of.
Wow,
come on.
Well, I don't.
Let me bring up.
Don't.
Let me bring up one other St. John's player from that era. Double J, you remember? Gully, you remember? I love this young man. I loved his game in college. Walter Berry. He was a terrible pro. Terrible. He didn't even last in the NBA 5 years. He was out he kept getting traded. But in college, you couldn't tell. There was not a shot that Walter Berry couldn't make. Walter Berry could score on anybody. And I know you know who Walter Berry is, Jay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Know who he is
yeah, I do.
If you know who basketball. But he was a terrible pro. He didn't even last in the NBA 5 years.
Man, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm telling you, I wish my memory was what it was 5 years ago. Because, Brother Rich, you already know, man, I used to spit stuff out like I was a walking sportsopedia. Ooh, y'all better be glad I'm getting up there in age, man, because I would tear y'all up. I would tear y'all up, man. They don't. And I ain't saying I was better than everybody else, but you best believe, and I ain't patting myself on the back. You bet this had been brought it. It's a lot of people that's glad my mind ain't what it once was. That's all I'm gonna say. And I ain't preening. But and then let me say something else too, right quick about Chris Mullin. Man, Chris Mullin was part of the Big East when the Big East, and I still ask people this question. I think I've asked this question on the show, 3,300 times now? I still have yet to get an answer, not from my panelists here, of course, today, but from a few folks and fans that claim they know basketball. Did you all know that there was a time and period when the Big East was the only college basketball conference that allowed 6 fouls? All these basketball historians that swear up and down I'm a hater can't never answer that question. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? And Chris Mullin, was he a part of that? No, but he was a part of the Big East when the Big East used to be. The Big East was to college basketball what they say once upon a time the SEC was to college football. Matter of fact, maybe even more so in terms of impact. Man, the Big East was a problem for a lot of folk. Yeah, I'm talking about back with Purvis Ellisons and all of that. But anyway, I digress. Gully, you want to weigh in on this? I mean, since you just now joining us, I'll throw the question back out here again. Does the success of Michigan's Juwan Howard, Georgetown's Patrick Ewing, and Memphis's Penny Hardaway hinge on being the catalyst for a return to college basketball glory days? Now, this is a two-part question, but we're just not getting to the first. That's the first part.
Oh man, I wish it was. I wish it were so. I think defying logic, the NBA or the path or the road to the NBA will continue this course. But they are definite examples, great examples of how the player development should go in America, and if the powers that be really sees this opportunity, they'll understand the financial benefit of having players develop in college and then go to the pros. I mean, think about it. You guys you named, they all had stellar college careers. Unfortunately, Juwan Howard, being part of Michigan, is remembered more so in infamy for what they were unable to achieve. However, we were excited and we were great. We were able to follow that story, if you will, follow these players. We got to know them. They were household names before they came to the NBA, and they weren't learning things that they should have learned in college at the NBA's expense. So if we take that development path and we realize that the greatest in our era or in any era more than likely went to college, then both the collegiate level, the NCAA, and the NBA should be able to say, excuse the accidental rhyming, they should be able to come together and say, we need to enhance that development path because it makes it beneficial for everyone.
Yeah, but you got to go to the grassroots. And we don't have the kind of time to really discuss that, but I'll make that a topic for another show. But when I say grassroots, already know, Gully, when I was at Sports Talk Cleveland, me and my co-host at the time, we had a 2-hour argument on air, live on air, and we were streaming all across the world at the time about AAU and what it has done. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, Brother Rich, the one and only Kobe Jelly Bean Bryant made the same comment that I had made 2 years later he did about the AAU and what it done did to basketball. Right. So you got to go all the way back to the grassroots.
All basketball purists are saying the same thing.
Saying the same thing. You get what I mean? So, you heard it here first, though, to tell you the truth. But to the second part of this question, I'm glad you all are kind of alluding to this already, or segueing. Will the presence of these three men in particular cause a reversal in the one-and-done trend with more players wanting to stay longer? In other words, if I know, and I'm just saying theoretically, I guess, that I got a chance to be coached by a Phil Jackson or, rest his soul, Chuck Daly as a collegiate ball player, even though my time may be where I could go to the draft, am I maybe fighting with the decision to stay, to learn from, because, that's like, not literally, but to some degree, you hear Kareem and them guys that played at UCLA during the John Wooden era, and of course, the NBA wasn't as alluring, and the monies, of course, were not there like they are now. But you hear them guys talk about John Wooden, and it was the lessons were invaluable. Do you think a lot of these young kids and maybe their parents might say, "Hey, man, I get it. We come, it's tight. We come from poor stock, or whatever the case may be. It's been tough for us, and you got a chance to be the first one to break through. But you might want to stay 2 years, son, because what you're going to learn from that guy is priceless." You feel what I'm saying? Does that make any sense, Brother Rich?
Absolutely. But here's the other thing about them. The other thing to further your point about what you're saying is Patrick Ewing is recruiting me. He's not recruiting me if I'm a one and done, because he already knows the standard for the league, so he's not even interested. Got you. He's recruiting me because I'm in Washington, D.C., Maryland area, and I'm one of the best basketball players, and he's going to tell me, look, this is what you do. Come to me. I'm going to get your game ready to go to the league. And now because of who he is, when Juwan Howard comes to you in Michigan, or in particular, he's in the best position, actually, in Memphis, where he was born and raised, where he was the premier basketball player. He went to college there as a star. He's a star in the entire state. Penny now, he was a legend, and everyone who all the basketball players look at him as a man. And what if he hadn't gotten? So he's this enigmatic figure to basketball people, and so he's a revered figure. He's well respected. So now if Penny comes to my house and says, "Look, I'm gonna come. You're nice. You got some game, but this is what you need to do. Come to my program. I'm gonna help you get ready. And you might not get drafted in the first 10 players, but I can help you get in number 15. I can help you get in the NBA. You'll be drafted at least. I can work on your thing, and yes, I'm going there to play. And it might take me 2-3 years, but I'm going, and I'll do that."
Okay.
He'll say, just give me like 3 years. He ain't gonna say, you ain't gotta stay 4. Just give me 3. Just give me 2-3 years. I got you.
Yeah.
Fact.
Gully.
Because remember now, and that's why Double J mentioned to us about is that the end of the other scenario, because what Kentucky has had to do is literally go to the best players and say, look, I know your grades ain't tight. I know that. They've had to go and say, look, just come to me. I got you an Adidas deal. You're going to the league next year. I got your agent. I got you this. That's what they're selling right now. And so everybody knows this Calipari's deal. Everybody knows this.
Gully, we come to you with the same question. But right quick, I want to ask Brother Rich, yes or no? So do you think Memphis is Wiseman after he serves his 12-game suspension? I still don't know where he's going to get this $11,000 that he got to donate. The NCAA, they some crooks for all of that. But anyway, do you think he's a one and done?
Absolutely. They're just saying, criminals don't like competition. And the NCAA is a criminal organization. It's a cartel. Yeah. They don't want to be competed with. They want to get there. They're just saying, look, give us our share. And you got some money. We accept it. Y'all caught us. We caught you. Give me some money. Give me something behind the table. So give me a little tax on that. Yeah. And so now just pay up a little bit. But let's move on.
Yeah,
so you're asking me first?
Is Wiseman a one and done in your estimation? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely one and done. Absolutely. And see, that's the scenario that Penny goes in to say, look, come in, let me help you get ready to leave. All right, so I'll help you out. Yeah. Come on. But the rest of that team and that state, he's ready to recruit that state and build as we're talking about. And that's what Patrick Ewing has done. And don't sleep on what our guy from San Antonio, what he's coaching in college. He was one of the first ones to go to college. Double J, who am I talking about?
Gully might know that a little bit better.
Gully, who am I talking about?
Yeah, we're going
former coach. He played in San Antonio, coached it in the league for a little while. He's now coaching in college. He talks really great.
You're talking about wide mouth Avery Johnson?
Avery Johnson.
That's
right.
Yeah,
he's
that's
coaching
right.
in college as well.
Yeah, he's
in Alabama.
Alabama. Yeah, that's what Colin
Absolutely.
Sexton. I don't know why I didn't know that, but yeah, Colin Sexton. That's why I'm I wasn't.
See, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Colin Sexton.
See, that's exactly the example I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He gets Sexton to come in and says, look, let me get you ready. I'll get you ready for the league. I'll get you in the NBA. I know people. You'll be there next week. I got you straight.
Yeah. All right, Gully. So, again, the same question to you. Will the presence of these three men, in particular, cause a reversal in the one-and-done trend?
It is a potent argument for it. Unfortunately, it won't. And the reason why is because of, I would say, I don't know if we're going to get to it or not, but I would say Luka Doncic, his recent comments.
Don't say anything. That's I'm getting to that. Boy, you and Double J are good for.
No, because I haven't spoiled anything. But I'm going to say,
spoiler.
I'm going to say that because of his comments, I would say I'm going to forfeit the rest of my time.
Yeah, please. Question. Yes, thank you. Okay, and it's just a reminder, fellas. Can we just kind of let's keep our responses limited, so not only can we get through the thing, but y'all don't usurp what I done took time to write. Please, thank you. Spoilers. Okay, all three of y'all right now like some rotten eggs. Double J, we're gonna go to you, or do you want? Yeah,
we might be soothsayers.
Oh, my gosh. Here we go. We got a bunch of Cleos on the set. Yeah, I got you. Clairvoyant. Yeah, smoke your Marlboros, will you? Double J, do you want to weigh in on that as well, or do you want to refrain because you're going to spoil it?
Well,
my
just want to
gosh.
point out that
You hear how the guy comes in? You hear how
the NCAA, the concept of NCAA basketball may actually benefit, again, to your point and to your question about having this caliber of head coach, simply because, again, like you said, these guys are capable of teaching him the game at the highest level. And, again, the key word there is teach. Simply because, if they're simply running after a check, as Brother Rich pointed out, they'll continue to, those guys will still go to the Kentuckys of the world, or they may opt, as this continues to develop, for a LaMelo Ball route or a potential G League route in the near future as well. So we'll just continue to kind of monitor and see what happens, but it is going to influence, but money always talks.
Oh, that's the
and we never can really speak on anybody else's previous, economic situation.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is always the bottom line, right? You all see, I want the people out there that's listening, all three of them, because it went from 5 to 3. I get it. I just want them to understand, when Double J starts in, he starts in like he's sitting. Remember the guy on the commercial that used to be sitting in the big back chair with a smoker's jacket on with a pipe? Hello, I am. He says, he starts in, well, we don't need the smoker's jacket's moment, okay? You and Brother Rich, y'all been getting beside yourself on these programs lately. I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of pink slips in the mail. That's all I'm going to say. Anywho, the next question is, speaking of Luka Doncic, it's easier, and these are his words, not mine. He said it's easier to play in the NBA than it is overseas. Now, Double J, I think I tagged you in that post. Did I not?
Oh, you sure did.
Oh, did I? Yeah. Gully, did I tag you in it too? I saw it on Facebook. Did I tag you in it too?
Well, I couldn't say nothing a few minutes ago because I was going to spoil
I'm asking you
everything,
now,
but
did
yes.
I tag you in the post? That's all you got to say now. And we're not talking about 8 minutes ago. I'm just asking you a question now. See, this is what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Spoiler alert.
This is why the police do.
Tag me in the post.
Yeah, God. This is why the police do lineups. Identify him. Is it number 1 or number 9, ma'am? Could you identify that guy? Yeah. Anyway, Luka Doncic says it's easier to play in the TDBA, than the NBA than it is overseas. Gully will stick with you since you want to be spoiled. Are his comments like wow, or are they par for the course or passe, so to speak?
Well, not for us, our listeners, and us as a panel, because we already sort of known that. I guess it allows me now to say what I was going to try to say earlier. He said it was easier to score, much easier to score. Well, if it's easier to score, that means either he's
just easier to play.
Yeah, it's easy to play, right. I mean, either he's so versatile offensively, we've never seen it before, or that in combination with the lack of attention attention or giver, to defense is astounding. And for it to be our premier professional basketball league, if you will, that's a shame. And that goes back to what I was trying to say a little bit earlier. The fact of the matter is, sounds like he's going to continue to excel. He's going to continue to be great. And players who who played the game on the world stage, playing internationally, are going to be better equipped for the NBA. The key is the reason why they're going to be better equipped is because they're learning better, but they're also paid to do that. That's what's going to be the remaining challenge for the continued development of college basketball players if they go the route going with the Ewings and the Howards and the Hardaways to be coached by and developed.
Yeah, good stuff. Double J, your thoughts?
Well, let's talk about this here. The previous shows, I pointed out on multiple occasions, you can look at what's happening to Team USA at varying levels, whether it be the Olympics, any type of world competition, and they continue to lose and come home with no hardware. And simply put, that right there is your answer. So there's something fundamentally going wrong here. We've talked about understanding and kind of uniting the global game with the rules that FIBA has, and also the soft type of caliber of players that we're raising in these basketball factories, aka the AAU, and yet we're scratching our head or having a shock and awe moment when a guy who was at 19 years old doing what he did at Real Madrid comes over and says, hey, it's easier to score here. I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, it's a reason why I call it the Today BA, and I'm going to keep calling it the Today BA in basketball because largely the style of play. Brother Rich, before you weigh in, let me add this as well. To me, the NBA now, overall, and in particular what Gully's point about defense was or is, like, it's all about the talent, right? We've said that before. But you ever seen that kid or you know a kid who's so talented that he takes it for granted and he don't put in the work? I know a kid who everything comes natural to him. It's easy for him. But he has the most difficult time in the classroom because he slough it off. To me, that's what the NBA has become. The talent has been made such the emphasis that the skill and the respect for craft is long gone. This is why Luka can say what he says. This is why I've been saying what I've been saying, and I'm going to keep saying it. There was a Facebook post put up. I don't know if it was yesterday or earlier today. Here's one of them senior moments, right? And it had a picture of James Harden in conjunction with three other players. I know Jordan was one of them. Kobe was the other one. I forget who the fourth one was. And the caption, and this is why word play and word usage, and I'm so grateful when I was in college that I took linguistic classes and things of that nature, and I will not stop saying how important words and the placement of words and sentences and expressions and so on and so forth can make the difference. Like they said about Malcolm X, man, his power of speech was that he could either start or stop a riot. That's what the power of the pen means, right? At the end of the day, Luka can say what he's saying about the NBA, man. Not only is the respect for craft gone, but this picture that they had of James Harden in conjunction with these other three players, the caption was, he's in select company because he didn't score 60 or one player can come close to scoring 60 or 80 or what Kobe's 80 was. And then I responded and such saying, yeah, it's remarkable, but what y'all failed to mention here, while y'all trying to plant this seed in the mind's eye of folk, that every other player that y'all got this dude next to did it on the defensive end. See? That's why I say this era comparison is garbage. Stop it. Stop this whole what a guy can score and all of that and his talent. That's misleading when it comes to skill. Because you and I both know, Brother Rich especially, and Double J and Gully, at the end of the day, when you can stop the other guy from getting his averages, and not only stop him, but hold him well below his averages, but you can get your averages, and if not more, there's something to be said for that. Don't put a guy who all he does is what all his mark is all strictly on the offensive end next to guys who got the same amount of offensive repertoire or talent or could score like he could. I mean, when Kobe dropped 81, Kobe dropped 81. But Kobe was a defensive stalwart. It take a lot of energy to play defense and then go drop 60. Am I lying, Brother Rich?
Right.
Oh, okay. So stop trying to put Harden. You don't listen. That era versus this era. I told a guy the other night at the job. I said, "Look, man, miss me with that. Look at it like two mountains. Take your favorite player from this era, put him at the bottom of a mountain, and take my favorite player from that era, put him at the bottom, and say, y'all got to climb, get to the top. Whoever get to the top can pop their collar. Well, the player from my era, he got to use his hands. He a rock climber. And meanwhile, the whole while he climbing up his mountain, it's rocks from the top falling down. He got to. But the player from your era, he got the same mountain. But what we can't see is the fact that he got stairs leading all the way to the top. And then we both, my player and your player get to the top. My player is exhausted because of what he had to go through to get to the top. Your player sitting there talking about some, I mean, we've seen before, like when they do these marathons. The guy slide off, he got a twin brother. The guy started off the marathon, he slide off in the woods, and his twin brother finished the race. And he up there like, I came in first. Man, you cheated. You understand what I'm saying? So to speak. But anyway, brother, Rich, Luka's comments, are they damning for the NBA as a whole, as a product? Holla at your boy.
No, I don't. I mean, I think the NBA is spoken for itself. I think your critique of the NBA these long years is manifest. It speaks for itself. But let's start with what Double J said. You told us to look at language. Double J told us that one of the key words is fundamentals. Well, all fun begins in the mental. One of the things that Luka will tell you is that there's better coaching overseas, that they're actually learning the game overseas. Now, I wanted to go at your argument from the vantage point of a defense lawyer, because I always feel I'm defending the players, because I don't think it's the players. But let's share the blame. A part of it is the players, only because you and I know we have to concede the argument that eventually the logo for the NBA is going to be Michael Jordan, the jump man. That's really, when you think of the modern NBA and what it represents in terms of its art, its game, its passion, what it is, what its reflection will be long term. That's Michael Jordan in and of what his persona. So let's grant that argument will take place down the road. Nevertheless, so you're right. A lot of it is on the players, but I tell you time and time again that in fact in overseas they're actually learning the game. No, run this play. No, run to this corner. No, do this. No. In today, that's why you call it today BA. In today's NBA, I can make $30 million a year and say, look, last night we played, I had 50. Look, tonight, you know what? I don't even feel like playing. I had a big dinner. Matter of fact, I need to go get a massage. I'll see y'all tonight. You know.
Yeah.
But the coach is not the person that can say. The coach is no longer Pat Riley that can say, look, if you don't come in this gymnasium right now because somebody's filming the coach, and if the coach talks like that, he or she can get sued, and it's about this and about that. So today's NBA says, well, that guy he's got a deal on ESPN. If I don't treat this guy nice, he won't interview on ESPN, and it's not in his contract because he's got a good lawyer and he's got a lot of money and he makes more than me, and then he'll go to management and say he wants to get traded, and we're a small market, and I'll get fired. This has to go into a coach's mind. He is powerless today, except that he is Doc Rivers, except that he is in San Antonio. But absent that, they're talking right now about firing the coach of the New York Knicks when everybody knows the coach is the least of the problems of the New York Knicks. Everybody knows this. But they're talking about firing another coach.
Yeah, well, that's I'm so disappointed in what's going on in New York, man. As far as the Knicks are concerned, you know what I mean? I say that, man. I mean, it's heartfelt. You know what I mean? If you ain't ever played at that Rucker, man, or been to that Rucker, you don't know. I don't care how many times something is posted on Facebook about hoop or whatnot, and you know how many highlights. You know what I'm saying? That's what's wrong. I had a young dude tell me. We was talking about, you know, sports, of course, and I forget what it was in particular. But I asked him a "did you know" type question because they was going back and forth. Man, and I said, well, did you know X, Y, huh? He didn't even know who it was I was talking about, but he a hoop head, so to speak. Then he gonna come back and say, man, talk about some stuff that happened since '85. I said, see, that's the problem with you newbie thinking. I ain't gonna even say the word. Y'all think that the league started when y'all was born. Folks in my era are giving credence to the league in its entirety. We be the first ones to say, look, man, I didn't see Bill Russell play, but I'm not going to discredit what he did, but I can only go based off what I've read. Y'all watch a bunch of highlights, man, and think y'all know the whole story. That ain't the whole story, man. Stop it. Stop it. Have a seat, would you? Yeah. Gully, we coming to you with this next one. Question number 3. Should ESPN Oh, wow. It caused all of that, huh? Sound like you spilled your Skittles. You good over there, buddy? All right. Should ESPN stop letting Stephen A. talk about race, as in race relations? Dr. Boyce Watkins, I don't know if you are familiar with Dr. Boyce Watkins, seems to think so. He says ESPN allowing Stephen A. to talk about race is unethical. And I think I put a Facebook post out, a video that Mr. Watkins put up, and I shared it with a few folks. You all need to go check out Boyce Watkins' thoughts on ESPN and Stephen A. Smith. It's pretty interesting, actually. But, yeah, Gully, should ESPN stop letting Stephen A. talk about race?
No, I don't think so. I think they shouldn't put the governor on it themselves, arbitrarily stop him from doing it. I think it will run its course, and I think eventually there will be fallout. The fact that he brings it up, and he brought it up in the conversation today, talking about Jason Garrett and how Jason Garrett's tenure, and suggesting that Jason Garrett may not last the season, and how Jason Garrett remains a coach despite his record over these 10 years or what have you. He introduced race in that conversation. I don't know that they should. I don't think that they should. I think it'll run its course.
Double J, what say you?
I'm going to go with Gully here and say, why remove?
Hold it. Can we get the infamous double down? What happened to the double down? That's a part of the show now, man.
It's coming.
Oh, well, yeah. Okay. All right. Got you. Go ahead, finish.
Look at I have you in suspense already.
Oh, got you. Yeah.
That's effective.
Yeah, got you. Supply and demand. Yeah. I got you. Go ahead, finish.
But nevertheless, I think what had been said about him by other athletes that he amongst the common man had really gotten to him, where he seems to bring it up more and more, and as long as it's relevant and as long as it's accurate, then why not? I think by telling him that no, we cannot do it, i.e. Jamel Hill, can lead to some disastrous consequences, more so than allowing him to continue to do it. Because let's face it, he's absolutely right with that particular point. Do I feel like it needs to be brought into every set of circumstances? No, but if it applies, if it's applicable, and it's a solid data point, then by all means, use it.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me, Brother Rich, before we come to you, let me add in the thing Mr. Watkins pointed out and why they should stop. And I should have said this before, but he's saying that ESPN's deal is anytime it's a subject of race, in particular, here lately, African Americans involved in certain incidents and so on and so forth on the sports landscape, they let Stephen A. talk about it, or they'll bring in somebody like Lil Wayne. And Mr. Watkins is like, these dudes are not, what's the word he used? Bear with me here for a minute. They're not experienced, so to speak. It don't mean, he said, in other words, they putting them on there to have the discussions about race because they black. You know what I'm saying? Okay, yeah, because you don't make you an authority on it. Don't mean you don't know. He said, but they need to talk to people who are experts, so to speak, in dealing with relations and race relations. You know what I mean? Whereas this is what people like. He didn't even mention himself, but he was saying, and I follow him enough to know that when ESPN does this, I particularly would like to see a guy like a Boyce Watkins on there. You understand what I'm saying?
So he suggested. So he would suggest like having Michael Eric Dyson.
Or I guess, yeah, I guess, you know what I'm saying, or Minister Farrakhan or somebody like that. You get what I'm saying? Where this is they really they bread and butter, and not because it's their color, Brother Rich.
Well, let me add into this here while we reconnect with Brother Rich.
I don't know what happened to Brother Rich. Hold on.
Given under those circumstances. Oh,
hold on, Brother Rich. You still there? Oh, I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he's stepped away from him. But go ahead. What'd you say, Double J?
Well, under those circumstances, I don't disagree at all. He's absolutely right. There was the gentleman that was on with them when they had the Kaepernick story going. He brought up incredible points, and it was him and Max that ultimately made Stephen A. as incredibly uncomfortable, where he's continued to kind of go back to what's happening here with this particular, with bringing it up potentially could have had played some kind of role in all of this. But, there was that gentleman would be a perfect example because every point that he made was so high level. And so I'm totally understanding.
Howard Bryant.
Howard Bryant,
okay.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Double J. Finish.
But yeah, that's who I would ideally look towards. But again, this is where you have to, unfortunately, question the agenda of the employer if they want to portray it in a certain demeanor to take away from its validity, and that's the unfortunate side.
Yeah, and again, I want to stress that people should go really and watch the video, the Boyce Watkins video in regards to this subject.
Fact.
Because he's much more detailed than I'm being here. I'm kind of sort of paraphrasing, so to speak. But if you watch it, the video in its entirety, then you would see, why this was a question on the show today. And I happen to agree with him. I'm not saying that, Stephen A. can't I'm not no fan of Lil Wayne. I'm not going to act like I am. But, let somebody who this is their life's work, so to speak. You know what I mean? And they go beyond the surface to discuss it. Go ahead, Brother Rich. Have you say?
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is part of my silence was there was an alarm going off in the building where I'm at, so I did not want to subject our listeners to that.
Okay, gotcha.
So I was hearing everything you all were saying, but another part of my silence was I was flabbergasted when you asked the question because I didn't know that ESPN allows Stephen A. to talk about race. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Every time I've ever heard him speak, he doesn't speak about race. What he does everything to do but to talk about race. What he does do, in fact, is excuse race as what he calls an excuse for aberrant behavior by ownership, management, and other entities in sports, even his own network, as it relates to his colleagues like the ones you just mentioned, Jamel Hill and others. The fact remains that Stephen A. Smith does not talk about race. Stephen A. Smith is very averse. This is why, Double J pointed out, Howard Bryant, in fact, talked about race, and he made Stephen A. Smith's argument seem absolutely silly, devoid of the understanding that the fact that Stephen A. Smith did not even deal with the fact that there were elements of Kaepernick circumstance that were absolutely abhorrent to he didn't even deal with the fact that an attorney told him if you signed that you would be ridiculous, it would be malpractice. Never brought up any of that. Defended the NFL all the way, made the young man seem like he was crazy, did the exact same thing. Every time it deals with an African-American athlete, this is how he makes them appear, as though they are just a problem. But this is what we understand, as Double J alluded to. They're hired to do this. This is their job. So when he says don't let him speak on race, he's talking about don't put him up there as the token black man that is supposed to be defending black people. When in fact and indeed, we all know what he is. There's a language in our community, and we all know that he who pays the piper calls the tune. So whatever you want to call him, a tap dancer or whatever, that's what he is. And all our listeners know that. Everybody listening to this program knows that. You know that. Double J knows that. Gully knows that. All the listeners know that. But and guess what? Sadly, Stephen A. Smith knows that as well.
Exactly. And right quick, before we move on to this last question, I wanted to just throw out here, a certain person and persons actually on this program have been texting me about rented mules on the loose in the streets and so on and so forth. I was just wondering if that still applies. Are there any rented mules running around in the streets of L.A. or Michigan right about now? Double J, Brother Rich, Gully, Columbus, maybe? I don't know.
How about them cowboys? How about them cowboys?
How about them rented?
How about them cowboys?
How about y'all need to leave them rented mules alone, or either call Sidney Poitier or Sister Sarah. Anyway, this next question, I don't know if you heard this, Brother Rich. You know what I'm saying? You probably was too busy feeding your rented mule some hay. You too, Double J. Was it crazy for the standard, the NBA standard, still currently, even though he's no longer playing, Michael Jordan, to say this about Danny Ainge? With his desire and hustle, we'd never lose a game. Jordan was asked with the one player he'd want to play with, and he said Danny Ainge. Brother Rich, is Jordan crazy? Of all players.
Insane.
Of all players. Bird, he didn't mention Bird, he didn't mention Petrus, he didn't mention Stoyakov, he didn't mention Reggie Miller. Nobody. He said
let's be honest.
Danny Ainge.
Let's be honest. Michael Jordan, everybody that knows him knows that he has such a high view of himself. He views himself in such a way that any other athlete, no matter what they do, with the possible exception of Tiger Woods because he loved golf so much and he admired Tiger as an individual, Michael Jordan views, as it relates to basketball, he will always pick the exact opposite. This is why he's so terrible at picking talent and drafting players, because he looks for, he picks the exact opposite of himself. So as he has the best player, he always looks and picks the worst and compares that individual to himself. That's a fact.
Okay,
everyone knows this about
Got you. Hold the line. We got a caller here. Let's see who's on the line.
He's
here.
a bully.
He's a bully. What's up, caller? Who are you? Tell us what you are, who you are, rather, and where you're calling from. What's happening?
Well, this is Jerron Wilkerson calling from Canton, Michigan.
Doc, is that you, man?
Yeah, man.
What's up, Doc?
Dog.
Yeah.
You ended the show.
It's all
What's
good.
going on?
Yeah, man. We went to a new start time, man, so that, folks who might want to join in after they got to the house and relaxed and got their cup of coffee or tea or whatever it is that they be. Yeah, we just thought we'd go to another time, man.
Got off not too long ago.
It's all good, man. How's things on your side of town, man?
Everything going good, man. Everything going good. I'm a little hurt after Sunday's performances, but it's all right.
Oh,
at least Lamar Jackson got the dub.
Yeah, no stuff. Well, you caught us right here. We were going through this little thing I got put together here called 5 Burning Questions. And you came right in when I asked, was it crazy for Jordan to say, I guess he was asked by, I don't know who, like, if you had a player you could play with, back in your day, who's the one player? And he said Danny Ainge. He said, matter of fact, he said, with his desire and hustle, we'd never lose a game. Danny Ainge was that player. Is Jordan crazy, man? Or what? I mean, what's going on here?
No. You got a player like Jordan who obviously knows the game and can spread knowledge to another player. So if you already got a workhorse that just needs a little bit of work, I feel like with Jordan as a teacher and him being on the court teaching them what to do and what not to do, I feel like they would win. They would probably, like you said, they would go undefeated. They would go undefeated. It's hard to find a workhorse like that, man. You got some guys that's like, oh, well, I made it, so now I'm just going to collect the money and my play is going to start to fall. And it shows on a lot of players when they get that contract. They style of players is like they stop playing defense. They focus on offense. I mean, look at Melo. He got all that money from New York, and then what happened? His defense started to slack. Offense started to slack. But you got workhorses like Kyrie and KD. After they get the money, they still want to win. So you give Jordan a player like Ames, it ain't no stopping him, dog.
Okay.
Ain't no stopping him.
Okay. Double J, what say you?
I'm totally going to disagree here, and I'm going to double down with Brother Rich. I think this is...
Why am I not surprised?
Jordan...
Not surprised.
Being flirtatious with
his comments.
Another general manager and trying to butter him up a little bit there. And I'm surprised that just means that there's, knowing Jordan can't eye talent, he should have picked Larry Bird, and it probably got some pieces out of Indianapolis there.
Yeah.
Jordan ain't for their side with no rivals, man.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing though. Ainge was a Celtic. That Chicago Celtic thing was brutal. It wasn't as brutal, of course, as the bad boy thing, but the league back then.
I was going to say it wasn't as brutal as the bad boys.
Yeah, but that whole thing. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I thought they got into a couple of skirmishes. Well, Jordan got into skirmishes with everybody once he realized that he was about to take over.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He got into. I remember him choking Reggie Miller.
The most.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but the bad boys, the bad boys set the tone, and Jordan was like, you know what? I ain't going home. I'm about to show y'all what the deal is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought Bird
Jordan
too.
has said on multiple occasions. My fault. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you good. But I will say this though, I'm in total agreement. Well, as great as he was as a player, man, his eye for talent is terrible, and that's TURRIBLE, terrible. I mean, 3 words come to mind: Michael Kidd Gilchrist. I just can't get that name out of my head. I don't know how he made it. You think
Kwame Brown?
Kwame who? Kwame who, brother Rich?
Kwame Brown. He drafted Kwame Brown, brother.
Yeah. Gully, what say you about all of this, man?
Well, I think we forget just how, I guess, I didn't know this, how athletic Danny Ainge was. And I think as a fierce competitor, I think it was the effort and the hustle is what Michael Jordan was alluding to, of course. Well, I would say rather obviously when he says that, if I had more guys like Danny Ainge on my team, his hustle and his grit is something that I guess Michael Jordan was attracted to. But you know what?
Hold that thought. I'm so glad you mentioned that because that's my fault for not throwing that in. And I meant to look that up. But Ainge was an accomplished athlete in high school and college, if I'm not mistaken. He was a very accomplished athlete.
Yeah, but he actually had a pro contract. I think he was a
baseball player?
Blue Jay, if I'm not mistaken. Yes.
Yeah.
Right. He played played 3 years. So he was a great athlete even in that era. When they talk about the eras, guys being not as athletic.
Yeah.
You wouldn't look at Danny Ainge as being so athletic, but the way he played and the way he played the game. But it's the fact that we're talking about the effort here. And I think the problem is ultimately a guy like Michael Jordan saying that. I think the saying is those who can't do teach. I think Jordan proves that the inverse is also true. Those who can't teach do. Because, here's a guy who didn't really see much in Rip Hamilton, traded him away to Detroit only for Detroit to win an NBA title the next year with Rip Hamilton as one of those key pieces. I hate referring to players as pieces, but one of those key elements to that team. A guy who we already just talked about, Michael Kidd Gilchrist. We already talked about Kwame Brown. So I guess the fact that Jordan's eye for judging talent may be a different eye than judging effort. And I think maybe he gets those confused. And so I don't think that I don't think what he said about Danny Ainge is far off the mark. I think I'm glad to hear a comment like that so that when people have a different appreciation for what it means to have effort and to be tough. It doesn't always look like a Jordan or somebody thundering down the lane like we're used to seeing from a guy who plays number 23 for the Lakers right now. So I appreciate the comment. It should help him broaden the scope and understand it.
Yeah, let me give you a little backstory on.
Kind of reminds me of Caruso.
Yeah, Caruso is man.
Caruso reminds me of Alex Caruso because he's a workhorse. He don't always come through with the greatest offense, but when he get hot, man, it's hard to stop him. So it's like, the comparison is there.
And you know what? And I mean, we're not going to stay on this too long, but I do want to add in. I'm going to give you a little backstory on Ainge. But first, I'm glad you brought up Caruso because I watched a few Lakers games so far this season, and I kind of had my eye on him. He, like Bird, and I'm not comparing the two. I'm only comparing what I'm getting ready to say. They epitomized that expression, looks can be deceiving. I saw Caruso dunk the other night, And I'm not real big on dunks, you know what I mean, and all of that, you know what I mean? Because too often people see a player dunk and they swear, but now he's going to be the next greatest thing since everybody else to ever do anything. But that dunk that he had the other night, it was by itself. He plays, and it just when I say about Bird, it's in his chest cavity, man. You might get him 2, 3, 4, 5 times a night, but he gonna keep coming at you. He plays with a ferocity, man, that I respect. I'm not gonna lie, because it's to me it's almost like a lost art in sports in general nowadays. You know what I mean? We talk about guys who rest their laurels or haunt on their talent. I'm all that because I'm this and I'm that and my name is all in lights. Man, dude be like, look, man, I don't care how much money I'm making or not making. I'm about to let you know it's about to be some bacon. You know what I'm saying? The thing we talked about when we had the college football talk about what Coach my man Herm when he went to Grambling, Coach Eddie Robinson. He said, man, it ain't got nothing to do with how big the guy or small or tall, all of that. The things that people talk about now is if that's the end-all, be-all. He said, what I want you all to go out here and do today and every time we go out here, this is Coach Rob now, is let the other guy know in front of you that he got a good one here today. And at the end of the day, if that's what you doing, if you a competitor, what that got to do with whether or not if you 6'10" or I'm 6'4"? What that got to do with that? That ain't got nothing to do with that. Muggsy wasn't 6-0. You see what I'm saying? Muggsy, and if you read the book and not just watch the 30 for 30, you read the book, The Boys of Dunbar, while all these dudes talking about what's going on in high school and high school basketball, no disrespect to them guys, but you want to really know what a high school, what a real powerhouse high school hoop team is, go read that book. Go read that book. And then while you're in there, I think it's chapter 13, I believe, when this camp that all of these up-and-coming athletes go to, these hoop guys in particular, that they go to, and they've been going to for years. I'm talking about almost like 50-something years, man. This guy who runs the camp, Andronetti or some Italian guy. Yeah, or something or another, whatever it is. This guy has been running this camp for years. In the book, he says to this day, and he mentions names in particular. He mentioned Dwayne Wade. He mentioned LeBron James. He mentioned Carmelo Anthony. He mentioned a whole lot of guys that we all know as household names to this day that came through that camp. And he said to this day, Muggsy is a guy that you will never, ever forget. He said, yeah, I had them all. This guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. He said, but that performance Muggsy put on that year, he said he shut everybody down that had to rock for the other team. He shut everybody down. Everybody. So, with all due respect, you know what I mean, all the guys who can jump out the gym, just because you tall don't mean you can ball. That's been my story all along. But anyway, let me give you a little brief backstory on Danny Ainge. He played on his high school football team, North Eugene, and he led them to back-to-back state. His basketball team. No, he played on the football team, and the basketball team, he led them to state back-to-back championships in 76 and 77. I know it's a long time ago for some of y'all, but I still remember it like it was yesterday, especially the blizzard of 78 here in Cleveland. Look it up. He played at Brigham Young. He hit one of the best-known shots in the 81 tournament against Notre Dame. Who was the coach of Notre Dame back then? You know, Doc? Gully?
Digger Phelps.
Digger Phelps. Yeah, Digger. That was my boy. And, Gator Cougars at one point win, and as well as the John R. Award. He won the John R. Wooden Award, given to the best collegiate player in the nation. Dang, I didn't know that. During his 4 years at BYU, Ainge was an All-American, a 2-time first-team academic All-American, the WAC Player of the Year, and a 4-time All-WAC selection. He concluded his college career having scored in double figures in 112 consecutive games, an NCAA record at the time. So, okay, all right, all right. Okay, Mike, I hear you. See, Mike might have knew that. Then you still, Mike can't tell talent from the bull in the backside with a shovel. But anyway, yeah, I just thought that was,
tell that talent.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. Doc, you going to stay with us for this last question? I thought I actually had one more here. I didn't even realize I had one more. That's the senior moment. Yes, this question here, and Doc, we'll let you take this one. We'll let you take the lead on this one. Would a 16-team, this is college football now, would a 16-team college football playoff be a benefit or a detriment to the bottom line? or better all the way around in general?
I think it'd be better all around.
I do too, man. I do
A
too.
16-team playoff picture?
Yes.
I think that'd be better all around. And you completely just take away, okay, like how last year Georgia got voted out. It's like, well, that's not fair because they were clearly better than a couple of those teams that was in the top four. So it's like you get a 16-team playoff picture. Now there's no more, with a strength schedule. It's whoever play hard, play hard. If they get it, they get it.
Yeah,
It all comes down to how bad you want.
I'm in total agreement. Brother Rich, what say you?
You know, then they need to do something. So I can see that as an alternative. Absolutely. I can see that. That works.
And you know what? Double J, I'm coming to you next. But before I do, I was going to actually make this a topic, but I'll just piecemeal this little article here. I saved it to my phone as a show topic. Here's what I don't like about a lot of this is coming from Facebook. You know, Double J and I and Gully, we are on Facebook. I don't know about you, Doc, if you're on it or not, but I'm on Facebook. Yeah, I'll be scrolling through whatever. I had to send you a friend request or something, man. We had to hook that up. But anyway, I'm scrolling through and I'm
link it up.
observing this and that, and of course all of the talk surrounding the college football playoff as it currently is, the general consensus is everybody like it the way it is or whatnot, and how can they do this and whatnot. Well, let me say this. This particular article I found it about 2 weeks ago, actually. And I forget who the originator of the article is, who wrote the article. But he started off saying, I'm saying the college football playoffs, they are a farce as they are right now. And this guy, I'll read you this part. He said, it's not that it's two SEC teams, because he was talking about the LSU-Alabama thing. It's that it's Alabama, a blue blood school with one of the top biggest fan bases in the country. ESPN needs them to get in for ratings. Let's stop right there. Well, not let's stop, but let me stop right there. At the end of this is what I thought was the most poignant. ESPN tries to sell hope all season to the fan bases because they can't come right out and say, hey, we own it, we run it. We're going to put the 4 teams in that get us the highest rating, regardless of who deserves it. I'm so glad you said that, Doc, because in 2016, and I keep having this argument with Ohio State Muckeye fake fans, and why they always talk about this, and I'm not talking about the cats I'm cool with. I'll just be busting their chops and they bust mine. So RB, if you're listening, this ain't personal, but it's them fans who just run up when Ohio State start getting good or whatever it is and talking about, hey, like they've been there all along. You haven't. Stop. Look here. In 2016, if anybody remember that college football season, see, because this is the thing about fandom. I know I'm sidebarring right quick, but this is the thing about fandom. I am who I'm a fan of, team otherwise, but I can tell the truth about my team or a player that I like or whatever the case may be. Some of y'all, most of y'all out there got fans or fans of a certain team and players and would look you folks straight in the face and lie when you see his boo-boo on the ground. But anyway, in 2016, see what I'm saying? Because I've asked this to Ohio State fans and still ain't getting a straight answer. I'm getting all this, we'll see what happened was. Well, then stop it. Tell me why Penn State shouldn't have been in the playoff. If it's all about strength of schedule.
Penn State was whooping everybody that came.
Thank you. And they beat Ohio State, too. See what I'm saying? They beat Ohio State.
That came,
Thank you.
Either on the road or
Thank you. So the guy who wrote this article, I'm going to find him because I'm going to find it because then I'll send you all a link or something later on. I wanted to mention the link so you all could read the article in its entirety for yourselves. But again, that's my senior moment. But at the end of the day, that I'm so glad that he said what he said at the end. It's about ratings. We all know. That's why I said, excuse me. I wish college football, NBA, all these guys, and Gully, you and I used to have this conversation well back when we first started this, well back. And I think you even brought it up. He was like, why don't they just do what like WWE? Just come right out and tell everybody this is some bull. That way it'd be like, oh, okay, well, and then we can just go ahead on. Because don't try to spin me on this strength of schedule and this team played that team and this. Because if you look at the non-conference games that Ohio State done played, man, ain't no when they be as soon as they play their non-conference, they already in the playoff talk halfway through the season. They already got a spot. So I don't want to hear that. And then everybody.
But
Go ahead.
But look at in-conference, too, though. They ain't really – I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was just going to say, like you brought up Ohio State. Look at in-conference. Who in the Big Ten is tough enough to compete with any other team in the SEC or ACC other than Ohio State?
Thank you.
We can say Michigan, yeah, but Jim Harbaugh ain't doing nothing with
Thank
Michigan.
you.
So, okay, let's throw them out the window. Who else is going up against Ohio State in the Big Ten that's going to keep them out of the playoffs?
Thank you.
Nobody.
Thank you.
That's why it's not fair with this whole top 14 voting bullshit.
Thank you.
Because if you want to talk about strength schedule,
hey.
Ohio State got one of the weakest strength schedules ever because it's all Big Ten. And you might have a couple SEC or ACCs, but who in the Big Ten is going to stop them? They running through every single team in the Big Ten. You got Michigan, they're going to get ran through. Michigan State, which is horrible this year because we don't have offense or defense, they're going to get ran through. Penn State, they tried, but clearly it wasn't good enough. And it's they got ran through. And it's like, come on now. That's like an easy trip. I love my Patriots, but it's kind of like that. The Patriots in the division they in, they almost always got an easy road to the playoffs.
They already
it's not like they're a bad
in.
team, but it's like just look at who they playing. Yeah, they already in. Who they playing?
Thank you. And
who are they playing?
And that's
nobody.
My question is always, I don't have a problem with whoever you're a fan of. That ain't my issue. But tell the truth. But don't act like when y'all sitting at the table next to the teams that's still putting work in throughout the entire season. Like when we had this discussion maybe last week or week before last when we was talking about, this whole college football thing. I challenge everybody to come up to me talking about what Ohio State is and what they always was and all that kind of stuff. Give Ohio State or any one of them teams that you don't like that's always in the conversation, give them the schedule Texas A&M had this year. I guarantee you Utah number one in the college football playoffs this year. And then lastly, right quick before I let everybody, of course, weigh in on this, when the talk was about, no, they should leave it the way it is and so on, I'm saying, wait a minute. Why is the FBS, and that's what the Division I stuff is, right? FBS, right? Okay. Why can't the Ohio States and the Clemsons and the Alabamas and the Georgias and the Auburns and all them teams is always in the LSU? Why can't college football seem to figure out what the NFL done been figured out? If I'm not mistaken, the professionals, don't they have a tournament, so to speak, too? After playing a brutal 16-game schedule? Don't they have a wild card and a divisional round and an AFC championship round and a Super Bowl round if you get there?
Yeah, I got that whole postseason.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and then not only that, the NCAA, it's a farce. This college football playoff is a farce. And I'm going to keep saying it's a farce because they doing it already at the FCS level. Let me throw something out here at you.
Yeah.
Let me throw something out at you. Bear with me while I get this because I wrote this down. I don't usually write it all down. And I just mentioned the NFL plays a 16-game regular season schedule, wild card. I mentioned all of that. But in the FCS, the same NCAA now, they began with a four-team playoff in 1978. It expanded to 16 teams by 1987, and then again to 20 teams by 2010. And guess what? Currently, it's 24 teams. So don't miss me with why you can't for the FBS can't do a 16-team playoff. I'm not trying to hear it. At the end of the day, it's about the bottom line. It's about that bottom line. What it is the more people in, the more people got to share.
Ratings.
Thank you, and the ratings and all of that kind of stuff. So don't put powdered sugar on the pile of dog crap and try to convince me that it's a funnel cake. Ohio State fans. Anyway, Gully, have your say.
Yeah.
Well, in the graphic there, I think the idea of having the 16 teams, you already it looks like they put the 16 teams, and then they put little bowl games by which the semifinals and the quarterfinals and semifinals and the championship would be played. Therein lies the problem. If a team is in a bowl game, the Peach Bowl probably is not going to take kindly to this being a part of a playoff because that means the viewership for that Peach Bowl is going to otherwise be lackluster because the people who are traveling for these fans of these players or student athletes. Hold on, man, I got a lot of feedback.
Yeah, it's all good.
Oh, my bad.
Nope, you good.
Okay.
Yeah,
all
go
right.
ahead.
Yeah. All right. So then they're not going to come. See, the problem is that the bowl system makes it very hard to reverse course. If there wasn't such thing as a bowl system that they had, it would be easy to align this. As a matter of fact, having it 1 through 16 actually gives better credence to having rankings because rankings legitimize things, right? I mean, what good is it being number 8 in the country if you're not playing?
Do rankings really?
I mean, in the current format, current structure, in the current playoff format, what good is being ranked 8th in the nation? Because you're not going to get to a playoff, and the best and the premier bowl games are already tied into the Final Four. So if you're looking at your ranking right now, it means less now being number 8 than it did during the BCS era.
That's a good point.
Again,
So wait a minute. So then in that case, then that speaks to having more teams in a playoff. Because now the 8th-seeded team will okay, yeah, right. The 8th-seeded team will now get some love, so to speak. It'll mean something.
Exactly. It's just a matter of how feasible is it to actually do if you're going to still keep the bowl games, because the bowl games are just going to have to sacrifice revenue in order to that's the devil's advocate.
Hold it.
I mean, tell me, why would a like all right, so Double J, why would I think, does Nokia still have the Sugar Bowl? Why would Nokia, or not Nokia, but whoever owns the Sugar Bowl, the Sugar Bowl is kind of like one of those big four, but like, why would the Insight.com Bowl, if you will, want to participate in such a tournament?
Double J, before you say
anything. The answer to that is exactly. Okay.
Hold on. Before you say anything, I don't know if it would the Insight. I get what you're saying, Gully, the Toilet Bowl and the Tax Slayer Bowl and all them other little bowls. Maybe they could add some sort of something. All I'm saying at the end of the day is you cannot tell me, as advanced as we are, and I'm saying we lightly, loosely, as a nation, and all of the technological stuff we done did. We got cell phones and devices in our houses that we can talk to tell us, hey, Siri, play that song. Okay, that type of stuff. You mean to tell me y'all can't figure out how to put a 16-team playoff, and you got examples from the NFL and the FCS? They can figure it out. Go ahead, Double J. I ain't buying it that they can't.
Well, to answer Gully's question here, the answer as to why you would want to do that is Google the attendance to those bowl games.
Okay, so wait a minute. Wait.
And
so
you
saying
can see it? They try to hide it.
So wait a minute.
It would actually increase.
Okay, that's what I was driving at.
Something even more.
Yeah.
And again, sure, there's a trophy at the end, at the end of each of those respective games because, they're in fact bowl games. That hasn't changed with the 4 that we have now. You still see them with the oranges. You still see them, with the Sugar Bowl. So that wouldn't change a thing. The difference is now it has, unless you're the casual fan's not tuning in to the Tax Slayer Bowl. But if you're, if hey, this is a part of the playoff, this is a part of the tournament, you're watching that game because it has a bigger impact on the bigger picture. Additionally, to your point, as I've stated about the NCAA with football specifically, I said the playoffs are determined in August, not at the end of the season.
Yeah, got you.
This would alter that because what it allows for it would alter if expanded to double digits. It would force these teams to take away that dead week, that quote-unquote mid-season bye week that you often see, or the cupcake game that Alabama has before the Iron Bowl, which didn't seem to, look like they had diabetes after that cupcake game. But nevertheless, the point is here that it's going to force these teams into some unfamiliar territory that they do have to put up or shut up, and they have to continue to do it against the best of the best, week in and week out, no different than what they would have to do at the next level. The concern I have is for the student athletes, because it's easy for you and I to say, let's add 4 more games in there. But what did they get out of it?
Same thing they've been getting out of it.
Injury.
Same thing they've been getting out of it. Nothing.
Well, right, but now we're talking. Look at the NBA. Look at the other professional sports. If we talk adding anything, they say, "Show me the money."
Yeah, right. But
with these college athletes, you had guys like Leonard Fournette sitting out a bowl game when it was singular.
Oh well, yeah, that's a thought too, I guess. Yeah, I mean, but I wouldn't mess up. I wouldn't mess up my stock either. If I knew I was getting ready to get some cha-ching, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mess up by it either.
Exactly. So they're going to have some kind of stipend for these kids to risk it all.
Yeah, I'm just
when it matters the most, especially because you're talking about a couple different, the addition of other games. So you may see load management in college football. You might see somebody who says, "Look, we're in the top 5. I'm going to sit my guys. Even if I lose a game or two, I'm not falling out of that top 15. I'll be okay."
Yeah.
So there's a whole list of there's some pros and cons here. But additionally, I do want to point out that one of the biggest mistakes I felt the Big Ten had ever made was when they rejected ESPN when it came to the Big Ten Network, and they stayed independent. And of course, the SEC network is a part of ESPN.
Yeah.
And so it is no surprise to me why you see who we've been seeing near the top and considered the best, and by the mouth of the South, Paul Feinbaum is on every single ESPN show for only God knows why.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's your answer. And this is why I'm an advocate for the change, for the expansion, so the teams like UCF can get in and let the play on the field determine who the real champion is.
Yeah, and not only that, but at the end of the day, though, man, when you have some sort of playoff, that in and of itself, man, will bring in more of a draw anyway. You see what I'm saying? Because the tournament, I can't picture a tournament format that doesn't have everybody's eyes on it. I just don't. And for me, man, like, it's going to always come back to the bottom line. And I mean, I'm not disregarding everything that has been said here so far, in regards to this, but it's about ratings. It's about ratings. All of the other stuff, not from you all, of course, but to hear the NCAA and the national pundits speak about it, yeah, okay. We all know Ohio State travels well. And at the end of the day, I don't know who it is that's sitting in the room, or if it's a back room, a front room, a side room, but it's some folks sitting somewhere with papers in their hands saying, "Hey, these guys, they bring a 95% fan base wherever we go. We could play a game in Alaska. Ohio State fans gonna be there." Well, you know what? Let's see how we can figure out a way to get them in it. Oh, they got 2 losses. I know they don't this year. I'm just saying. Oh, they got 2 losses. Oh, they lost to Penn State, even though we said the Big Ten championship winners is an automatic in. But Penn State, they especially they still kind of getting out from up under what happened and so on and so forth. They have a nice fan base, but it ain't like Ohio State's. So let's figure out a way. That's what it's about. It's about ratings, man. Stop it. That's the reason why it ain't done, because there's too many other cases where it's been done and they just don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it, but they're gonna have to do it. It's a changing of the guard.
I feel like the tournament will bring ratings, because it'll be like March Madness. How you'll have a top team get blew out by some dirt team, and it's like, oh, we didn't see that coming. You know
exactly.
what I mean? I feel like people will tune into that in football, because you'll have like a Western Michigan going up against the Michigan or whatever the case may be. And what if they win? It's like, oh, didn't see that coming. Now everybody's bracket messed up. You know what I mean? It's like you can build brackets for this. Like you can turn it into a whole thing. But like you said, the ratings, they feel like this team is who people want to see, so we're going to make sure this team is in. But if they drop that mentality and just try to bracket, it might turn out better than they expect.
Yeah, that's what I say too, man. You know what I mean? But stop trying to act like stop trying to convince me it ain't about the ratings, because that's exactly what it is. Brother Rich, did you want to have a say on that as well before we move on, or no?
Well, again, the only thing I'll say is what you say all the time. You use your saying, it's your funnel cake theory. And the fact is the NC2A is a funnel cake, and if, you can't, no matter what they try to do, it's over for them. They're going to have to pay these athletes. You can play a 1,000 games if you want. Pay me, and that's what you're gonna have. It's like we were talking about a minute ago. Someone said about athletes sitting out their bowl games. It's gonna continue to happen because these athletes are aware of their power now, and so there's a power struggle, and so that's why they have to figure reconfiguration of these tournaments and the like and these championships, so we can get to a real champion, not this farce that has been perpetrated on the American people.
You know what? I just had somebody just called in, man, and for whatever reason, I lost you. I hope that might have been my man from Cali. It might have been California. Hey, if you're out there listening, man, give us a call back. I don't know what happened.
You sure it wasn't from somebody from the Dallas Cowboys? We expecting that call at any moment. You told us, right? Your fan base.
See, Doc. See, this is what I'm saying, Doc. I'm gonna have to.
Don't bring up them sorry Cowboys.
No, you don't. You don't know what's been going on here lately. Apparently, at the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah. Hey Siri, play Paula Cole. Where have all the Cowboys gone?
See what I'm saying? This is what I've been dealing with.
Love the Cowboys.
No. I'm not a Cowboys fan by no stretch of the imagination, but apparently because I said that I felt like Zeke and Dak should have got paid.
Hey, don't let him play you. Come on now. No.
I didn't say, man, stop it.
Buying this farce? This is bad acting.
Double J, don't even. You know what, man? Let me stand over here and give you a golf clap for the poor attempt at whatever you want to call it. Anywho, Doc, yeah, you don't know what I've been dealing with these two, man. You've been gone for a while, man. It's been brutal. Tragic.
Yeah, man, I ain't had you back. I apologize.
Yeah, tragic. No, it's all good. I appreciate it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They done made me out to be a Cowboys fan because I said Zeke and Dak should have got paid. And but here it is. They swear up and down, though. You know what I'm saying? Coaching is terrible when it comes to the Browns, but yet the fact that the Browns going to still run the table. Now, how's that for an oxymoron, I guess? Anywho, the number to call if you're up and around, you're out and about, you want to give us a shout, is area code 267-687-0026. Did I say that right? 687. No. Did I say that right? Area code 267-687-0026. See, this is what Brother Rich and Double J, they do this on purpose, y'all. I just want y'all to know that. You know what I'm saying? I think I'm going to start a petition.
You see, that's what happens. You start talking about the Cowboys and how they're exposed, and he's all out of sorts.
Yeah, guess what, Doc? We're going to put together a pink slip petition. We're going to remove Brother Rich and Double J. Double J like going to basketball games and not without sending no invites. You know what I'm trying to tell you, you know what I mean? Hollering at Derrick Rose. I done told him more than one.
He ain't real, man.
So you know the guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Do tell.
Double J, that's my dog, man. Double J, that's my dog. Bro.
Yeah, that's all you're going to say about that. I got you. Wink, wink. Yeah. He not only has he sent me a few text messages and, pictures of him, video actually of him sitting courtside. You know what I'm saying? I know he got it like that. Have some scrimp on me. Why don't you? He rolling around there kicking it with Derrick Rose and all that, man. He ain't not one time mentioned the show, no nothing. He ain't said nothing to D Rose, man. And he know that's my boy. Foul. Tragic. And then Brother Rich on the West Coast, he out there kicking with Kobe and them. He ain't said nothing. Like, man, you know my boy Cat J from the east side up in the Cleveland. He want to holler at you. He ain't said nothing. When they get around their boys up in these arenas, man, they forget all about the show. But it's good to go. I got you, though. Yeah, that number again, if you want to call, if you're up and around, out and about, you want to give us a shout. Actually, we might be auditioning or interviewing new co-hosts, by the way, on the next show.
We want anybody that's interviewing for the job, we want you to know it will be in our contract. You must mention the Cowboys at least 5 times a show. Just so y'all know when y'all apply for the job.
Yeah, area code is 267.
5 times. They dirt.
Yeah. Area code, so is the Browns. 267-687-0026. All right. Moving on. Let's get to our NFL Week 13 notable team performances. First up, all 3 Thanksgiving Day games were garbage. Stank like rotten eggs. See what I'm saying? And like Double J's invites, quote unquote, and Brother Richard's invites to the Staples Center. The man got season tickets. The man has been a season ticket holder at Staples Center since 1979, man. That's a long time to not invite your boy. But anyway,
Stop it.
Please cut it out. All 3 Thanksgiving Day games were. I just thought I'd mention that. But then we're gonna roll right along over to this Ravens 49ers. Doc, we'll stay with you on this one. Was that a Super Bowl preview?
I was going to say, all I'm going to say is Lamar Jackson's the MVP. I don't care what nobody. Oh, the Russell Wilsons, the Christian McCaffreys. What are they doing?
You don't think Russ? I don't know. Russ balling, Doc.
Russ balling. I see the Seahawks. I see the Seahawks sitting nice at 10-2 or whatever, but they took an L to Lamar Jackson. The 49ers took an L to Lamar Jackson. The Packers took an L to Lamar Jackson. I think the Packers took an L to Lamar Jackson. The Patriots took an L to Lamar Jackson. Like, come on now, he's beating all of the top teams. It's nothing. I mean, the 49ers was probably the hardest one he had, but other than that, who's stopping this man?
Yeah.
How is he not the MVP? Look at him. He's only 67 rush yards away from having the most rush yards recorded by a QB in NFL history. Like, Mike Vick even said he's better than he was at that level. He's starting to develop his pocket game, and he also said, I'm a pass-first quarterback.
And
Why wouldn't you want a quarterback that's good on the run and is trying to develop that pocket pass game? Because I forgot who said, I was watching ESPN. They said it's a good thing he is developing that pocket game, because if he gets hurt and can't rely on his legs anymore, he's going to need something else. And look at Vick. If he was to get hurt and couldn't run, what would he rely on? He wasn't really a pocket precision quarterback.
Yeah,
you got Russell Wilson. He's more pocket precision, but he also runs. But it's like, what if he gets hurt and can't get out? He can't just depend on his accuracy the whole game.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to eventually move. But you got players like Lamar Jackson. He can go to Mark Ingram the whole game if he wants to.
yeah. But you know, I will say this about the Seahawks. The Seahawks, man. If the Ravens are 1, the Seahawks are 1A. I don't know their running backs' names. They got 2 of them. They got 2 nice guys too. They're kind of under the radar.
They got Ben Carson, and I forgot what the other dude's name was.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Carson subbed himself out and gave the other guy. Why can't I think his name? Just I watch his game. But
Penny,
anyway.
ain't his last name Penny?
Yeah, something like that. Penny. Yeah. I thought Double J would have chimed in.
Some Penny. He
like
was
he do when he talk about the Cowboys.
Not a bad backup, man. I like that.
Yeah. The Seahawks play with a balance though, man. Their defense getting a little bit better. They sneaky. They sneaky, and they got championship experience too. So, you know, even if I like a player or don't like a player, I don't think you can undermine championship experience.
I feel like Lamar wanted more though.
Yeah,
he heard him. He ain't worried about the MVPs. He focused on one thing this year, and that's that Super Bowl. And I don't see nobody stopping him, man. He got his eye on something. He moving. Look at the team. The defense playing better. The offense is playing better.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's all because of Lamar Jackson, but I think it's the energy and the vibe he brings into the locker room.
His
presence rubs off on other players, so everybody is feeding off of his energy. You know what I mean? He's being an actual team leader. Like, this is what your leader's supposed to do.
Yeah. Well, and then the same thing could be said for me here on this as the host here for this program. You know, when I met Brother Rich and Double J, man, you know what I'm saying? Their energy, I fed off their energy, man, even though they, you know, try to make me out to be a Cowboys fan. The disrespect in the room is uncalled for and unacceptable.
I'm going to block Double J.
Yeah, please do. Blocking. I'm talking about like Tony Jones, Tyron Smith block.
Yeah.
Pancake. Yeah, pancake. Brother Rich, too. Block. Offensive line type block. But, that Ravens 49ers, man,
pancake.
It was not only as good as advertised, but by far, to me, the best played game of the season. What competition is supposed to look like, regardless of the sport. That's what I saw in that game against the 49ers. And then the Seahawks-Vikings, there's no doubt honorable mention now. You know what I mean? That Seahawks-Vikings was pretty good, man. I wish Dalvin Cook would have finished it out, but
it was.
Injuries are a part of the game. Brother Rich, was I wrong about the Titans?
You absolutely were, but we tried to tell you that, but you didn't listen to us. As we tried to tell you about Lamar Jackson, but you didn't listen to us then.
Don't do that.
But
you know what? Okay, that's what we're going to do in the next show. No.
And you was wrong about the Cowboys.
No, I wasn't wrong about the Cowboys because I just said last week.
You absolutely were wrong about the Titans. You were wrong about the Titans.
Yeah,
absolutely wrong.
Okay, well let me say this. Okay, see, Brother Rich didn't make me. You put the final nail in the coffin. I'm going to pull up. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up excerpts from previous shows, okay, since everybody want me to pull the tape. You know what I mean? Because people be wanting me to pull the tape. But see, y'all don't realize I be listening to all the shows after the fact. I'm gonna have to go to the archives. I'll be listening to the shows, man, and there's a lot of stuff being said on this program I don't think folk really want folk to know about. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all forget I record the shows are saved to my computer over here on this end. You know what I'm saying? I tell you, I listen to everything because I have to, so I could say going into the next one what I could do a little bit better, or she might take some stuff out. You know, that's still a work in progress, but it's nonetheless, it's always good conversation, so I love it. But yeah, you don't want me to pull the tape, you really don't. But I appreciate it though. That's why I asked the question: was I wrong about the Titans? And in what I wrote down, I said apparently I was, because Mike Vrabel say I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to win, and right now it's looking like that. I'm kind of surprised at Tannehill. To this degree, I'm not surprised by Derrick Henry. You see what I'm saying? And I don't think that the Titans will be, if they get to the playoffs. I don't think there'll be but it's any given Sunday, man. That's the thing about the NFL. The one thing about the NFL,
they won't. But it's just the joy of telling you that, reminding you that you were wrong. They definitely won't be anything. But it's just the pleasure of telling you that. How about them Cowboys?
Yeah.
The pleasure of telling you that you were wrong about the Titans, because you're not wrong a lot. You weren't, like you said. You were razor sharp at one time. So when we catch you slipping, I just like to drive the point home.
Yeah, got you. Double J, you got anything you want to add to the madness?
Keep it.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh boy, here we go. Go ahead, Double J.
Check the tape. I said the rapport that Lamar Jackson had in June during camp with his receivers is something to keep an eye on.
You did say that.
You
did.
That's what you
said.
said.
The jury was not
Hollywood
out.
Brown.
Yeah. Go ahead, Double J.
Ryan
Continue.
Tannehill at the helm. I said Mariota had to go, and look, now they are a completely different team. Nothing changed except for one player, and yet we're getting completely different results. And Derrick Henry looks like hungry Henry again.
Oh wow!
And then as far as your Cowboys go, oh my, they paid one of them, as you demanded,
alluded to, yeah. Uh-huh.
And now they're
what? Well,
I mean,
speaking of
where
which,
have
I
all
know
the Cowboys gone?
Yeah, gotcha. You just got to throw that in there, don't you? You just love throwing that in there. Yeah. Apparently, they went over. They in the car with you and Brother Rich on the way to the Browns Super Bowl this year. Anywho, Jerry Jones did mention when it came to paying whether or not he was going to pay Dak, even after all of these subpar performances, if you want to call them that. He said he ain't mincing tying his hands. He said he gonna pay whoever he got to pay. I said, oh, okay. All right, Jerry, I see what you're doing down there in your world. It ain't my world. Moving on. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns. They lose to the Steelers in Pittsburgh for the 16th time. But see, these Browns fans talk like they've been Browns fans forever. They probably didn't know that, but I thought I'd mention that just in case. Mayfield, here's what I don't understand. And to Brother Richard's point, the point he's been making, regardless of what the subject matter is, about coaching, I will concede in this particular case that Freddie Kitchens' coaching inability, lack thereof, than any other adjective you want to use to describe the dysfunction ongoing, stands out more so than the players in this case. But then again, what I don't understand is if we say that the coaching is terrible, yet on the flip side, my same two co-hosts here swear up and down the Browns going to run the table. And I'm going to say this to you in that regard. Okay, let's say they do run the table and they finish at 9-7. Browns fans that have been waiting, since my grandfather was born to see some sort of something in their lifetime. If they do go 9-7, it's going to be hollow. Ain't going to be nothing because they've been waiting that long. But anyway, I'd like for somebody to please explain, because when I watched Freddie Kitchens, and I was sold on it, I really was at the beginning. And I was sold on him because what he said seemed to fall in line with what I saw when me and Herm went to the training camp. I said, okay, these dudes got a different type of energy. But then words are words, right? Apparently not at this point. But I'm not one to sit and make a stand and stay on a stand despite what I see. What I see now, a bunch of flowery rhetoric. Freddie Kitchens' coaching philosophy, offensive philosophy, is pedestrian, to say the least. How is it that Baker Mayfield, in this game, threw the ball 32 times, 18 completions, mind you, and I'll get back to why I mentioned 18 completions. to Nick Chubb's 16 rushing attempts. How is that the case in a one-score game? And in a game where you started out having the lead? That is disgusting. And I'm not being nice. That's disgusting. He should have been fired last week. Him and Hugh need to be on the boat. Yeah, same boat that the TNT crew on NBA be gone fishing. Yeah, he need to go somewhere. You can go to the bottom of Lake Erie down there with Municipal Stadium. That's a reef now, for all I care. It is no way in the world. And I say the 18 completions because Baker Mayfield's 18 completions were only 2 more than Nick Chubb's 16 total rushing attempts for the game. Look, everybody's in the analytics now. I get it. I don't completely discount the numbers, but I'll say this. Stop using the numbers as if though they're the end-all, be-all. They said, did Freddie Kitchens miss the boat when he didn't put in the analytics for his coaching? Or Jason Garrett, too. Did Jason Garrett? Man, miss me with that. If you're a coach, stand on, and I coached basketball, okay? I'm not saying I was no John Wooten or nothing like that, but as any coach or anybody that ever coached, regardless of the level, you make play calls based on this game situation and how the game is flowing in regards to those situations. You standing there on the sidelines, you got somebody up in the box, be like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying, what we calling? Okay, I get the analytics say, well, on 3rd and 5, 9 times out of 10, you want to run a bootleg. Man, bump that. If I see that the safety's crashing down, no, kill. We going over the top. This dude Freddie Kitchens, seems to want to make a point for Baker to be this Brett Favre. You're too pass happy. No, he's not. And I'm not no fan of Brett Favre either, tell you the truth. That's another story for another day. And keep, hey, I guess. Stand over here, I'm going to give you a golf clap. That's what I say about that. But anyway, you got the dude throwing the ball 32 times in a one-score game? Double J, would you like to explain that? Or Brother Rich, either one of y'all. You know what I'm saying? Please explain that. Because I didn't watch a lot of football, and I still don't understand that.
You called him Brother the only thing I'll say to that is I rest my case. This is what I've been telling you from day one. We need to get rid of the coach.
Okay. And Double J, what about you? You want to weigh in? Or you want to stay in? You want to double down?
I'm going to double down.
Okay, all right.
At this point, he's being outcoached, outclassed week after week. It's the talent of the players that wills them to victory, and so, yeah, unfortunately, there's going to be a plethora of options for the team to choose from. Matter of fact, they could pull the trigger today, and I think they would finish the season better with Ron Rivera.
Why in the world did I know you was going to say that? I knew you was going to say that. I knew it. Yeah, he just recently got ousted from the Carolina Panthers. Riverboat Ron, I don't know. I don't even know if there's a head coach out there that really could turn this Browns team around, to be honest with you. Where's Bill Parcells when you need him?
Jesus.
Yeah. Bill Parcells, when you need him.
But why would you say that? Because, again, here's the thing. The Browns are not the team. The marathon continues. The Browns are not the team. Some team, just imagine for a second, America, if you will, that there's some team in some state, maybe in Texas state, that postures itself as America's team. They have a $3 billion stadium. They have a $1 billion owner. They have $1 billion worth of talent, and they don't win a god-darn thing. At least, hey, with the Browns, we're new. We start up. We're getting back to where we're going from. Our glory is. The marathon continues. We are not by the way, how about them Cowboys?
You know what? I'm glad you finished that off with that little Stephen A-ism. But let me tell you something about the Browns, okay? This is the first time I've seen since 1999. Because you and Double J, such the Browns fans. Do y'all remember when Jameer Miller played here? Oh, no? Okay. Yeah, I do. This team is the most talented I've seen since 1999. Probably even in the early 80s when Brian Sipe was the quarterback here. Red Right 88, the infamous Red Right 88. I haven't seen this much talent on the Browns team since I've been watching the Browns. From 5 years old, sitting down next to my grandfather, because that's how long I've been watching the Browns. And I would love to mention that each and every time we go down this road. But I'll say this. When I watch the Browns, I got more of a sampling size than the two newcomers. which, of course, they always like to say I'm the bandwagoner, but that's fine. I'll take it. I got more of a sampling size. And what I see from this Browns team, not only do I see the talent, but because of the talent, I'm even more perturbed by the things that I saw in 2004, 2005, 1993, 2008. Pick a year. The tackling is atrocious, still, which it shouldn't be, given that we've the talent. I couldn't even tell you who the starting defensive backs was in 2004, but I can tell you who they are now. The technique is terrible. We don't have no thumpers at linebacker. I don't know. Look, I done seen this movie too many times,
Not to mention
man.
the best thing they had on defense done for the year.
Thank you. I done seen this movie too many times, man. Y'all ain't been here long enough yet. I appreciate your enthusiasm and your optimism, okay? But I'm going to let y'all talk to some Browns fans who've been Browns fans when Jim Brown was a Brown fan, and they'll tell you, they'll have a long talk to y'all about optimism when it comes to these Browns, okay? All right? I know people, man, the day Biner fumbled, the day he fumbled, man, do you know how many people called off work that day? Do you know how many kids didn't go to school the next day? It was the numbers were record-breaking. When Art Modell moved the team from here to Baltimore, do you all know the backlash that Congress got from Browns fans? Not the backlash that the mayor here got. Not the backlash that senators or the governor here in Ohio. That Congress. Them folks in Congress said, man, they got so many letters and so many calls and so many responses from Browns fans around the world when that dude moved the team, man. I told y'all, man, if you read the book False Start, you'll see. Terry Pluto, a local columnist here for the Cleveland Plain Dealer, real good friend of mine too, actually. I got to call Terry and see how he's doing. Gave me a book called False Start. See, and he broke it down. He broke down the Browns in 99 were the one expansion team when it came to NFL's expansion teams. And you look at when the NFL was whatever it was, when it was 12 teams up to 16, however many teams it is now, 30 teams or whatever, 32 teams or whatever it is now. Every team when it got to the NFL expansion, no team came back in an expansion capacity faster than the Browns. There's a chapter in the book that specifically says or speaks to the NFL powers to be got together when they got all of that heat. Even the NFL offices, they had to stop people. They was telling the secretaries, stop taking calls. Okay? They said, look, they got together and said, look, man, if no other market deserves a team and should have a team in it, it's Cleveland. Why? Because Cleveland accounts for, I'm going to let y'all read the book. It's in the book. False Start is the title. The percentages that the Cleveland base in the NFL, how much they weigh towards the NFL's bottom line. You'll be surprised. That's why when the Browns were abysmal, okay, before they got all this influx of talent, when Jimmy Haslam bought the team, they was worth $1 billion. And really shouldn't have been worth $2. And you heard me say this, Brother Rich. I will never forget watching the commercial that came on after the Steelers had manhandled us 53-0. And when they went to a commercial break, the first commercial in that break was about the Browns. And they were asking season ticket holders to come get your season tickets and your PSLs now. I said, well, I'll be darned. What they should be doing is asking, do we want a refund? Okay? With that garbage that we've been seeing. So don't talk to me about the Browns. You can't do it. Now, y'all can talk to Cowboys. Y'all can do that all day. Ha, ha, he, he. It's funny to me. But you want to talk about the Browns? Don't do that. Don't do that. And I appreciate your optimism again. You know what I'm saying? I really do. But, y'all don't want to have that Browns talk. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't. Even my brothers don't like talking to me about the Browns. Because I'm telling you, when my mind was really sharp, man, I didn't. Most people, for entertainment, will go to a club and all that kind of stuff. And I've been to clubs before. But for me, it was reading about the Browns. Man, listen. Woo-hoo-hoo. Boy, y'all don't want to see I got a special section in my library about the Browns. Now, y'all sure y'all want to do this? Y'all want to keep doing this? I didn't think so.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, Brother Rich.
Absolutely.
I figured you was going to say something. Well, we're going to get to the last game on the schedule.
Let's look at the Browns.
Yeah, don't do that, Doc. You don't want to look at the Browns. It's terrible. It's terrible. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Man. Look at their receivers, man. You got Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah.
What is his longest streak he's been without a 100-yard game? Like 6 games in a row?
Yeah. Well, he's
like 23rd in touchdown receptions this year. Like, y'all wasting y'all money on him, man. Like, I understand he was a top player in New York, but this not the case.
Yeah, but you know what? I disagree somewhat, Doc, and I'm gonna tell you why. When I watched them, I honestly think that Odell. Now he had his moments where he was Odell, whatever that's supposed to mean.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, I kind of applaud him how reserved he's been as opposed to his stop in New York or when he was, kicking the nets and all that kind of stuff, being demonstrative or overly demonstrative. A lot of his stuff was overcompensatory to me. But here, I think he's been somewhat okay. The problem is, if you watch the Browns offense, and I forget the name of it now, but they used to do it on NFL, on HBO or whatnot, where they would, Jaworski and all of them, would break down the plays, but they would take each game and they would show you the play from the backside and highlight which guy was supposed to do what. See, I like detail. That's why I love Kobe Bryant's detail. I love it.
Yeah, that's the NFL breakdown.
Yeah, NFL breakdown, right. See, a lot of people don't watch that kind of stuff. You see what I'm saying? They watch the 2-second highlight Sports Center throwing. I'm not saying Double J and Brother Rich because they pretty much very much knowledgeable about the stuff. But some people watch it and be like, oh, man, he should have. No, if you really watch the breakdowns of it, if you watch the design of Kitchen's offense, everything is either this or that. You get what I'm saying? There's nothing by design that makes a defense have to defend every blade of grass this way and that way. Matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was one of the Rams players that kind of called out, like, look, man, we knew what was coming. Man, this dude's, and then real talk, man, I was sitting, one game was on, I think it was Thursday night game, and I was at the job, man, and we got a TV in the break area or whatever it is, and it was, for a minute, we was watching it, and it was dudes calling it out. They was like, man, he getting ready to run. Man, he getting ready to pass. Man, he getting ready to throw to Odell. Man, they getting ready to throw to Landry before the ball was even snapped. Now, if dudes who work at the post office can see that, you mean to tell, man? I'm not gonna go. Okay, all right. Well, but they're gonna run.
Baker Mayfield's fault too, because when you see the receivers running the routes, he don't know how to look the DB off.
It is, and I'm really done with him. And I was championing his causes because at the end of the day, Brother Rich, I told you when he got drafted, I wanted Josh Allen.
Thank you.
I did. I won't. I mean, I'll be the first one to admit whatever I said. Now you know that. Now, otherwise, I ain't me. You know what I'm saying? It's the other folks who hold on to the stuff that they hold on to regardless of what they see. Anywho, I was championing for the guy. Now, again, I wanted Josh Allen. I knew about Baker Mayfield, but I knew more about Josh Allen, in terms of, the weather here and what kind of quarterback would be more conducive, his style of play be more conducive to the weather here in December and January, because it get cold. If you ain't been down on that lake in January and December here in Cleveland, oh, yeah, believe me when I tell you. And I used to be at Municipal a lot. But anyway, so when they drafted him, I said, okay, well, I'm with John Dorsey, so let me do some backstory on the guy. So I went and looked him up, and I said, oh, okay, now I see why. And then that's where the position and the stance I came from at that moment, because the dude was an underdog. And, Brother Rich, you know me, man. I'm riding with the underdog first and foremost. First and foremost, I'm an underdog. Right. I'm an underdog. I'm rolling with the underdog. So he was an underdog. That's why I connected to him. But, I mean, my goodness, and believe it or not, I was a Bron fan too. The next time you talk to the guys, and matter of fact, I was. I used to be. I was. I want you to, Brother Rich, my right hand, my word is bond.
I remember that.
I lied for you before I went to you. I was the first guy to come in the barbershop and say, that dude ain't going to college. Ask Dre and them, they'll tell you. And Then after a while,
You almost lost a friend, dog.
hey man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I done been around this. See, it's a lot of stuff about the guy that I know that I won't share on here out of respect for other people that know him and them and so on and so forth. But anyway, yeah. But after I saw what he did when he did to Mike Brown in that game against the Hawks in his rookie season, or it might have been his second year. Well, I think it was rookie year. The disrespect, I was like, oh, I'm done. See, it's just some stuff to me, man. You know, I mean, I respect your talent, but you know, being a fan and the fandom thing with me, when you it's certain stuff you do, no, as a man or to another man and all that kind of, I'm just no. When I see you do certain stuff, man, I be done with you. I be done with you. You see what I'm saying? Then I really start taking a look at you in depth. You know, but that's just my perspective. You know what I mean? A lot of people like him, and I don't knock nobody hustle and all that kind of stuff. But I know things about the guy and about who he hang with that a lot of people who see him on TV don't know, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But the reference I was making about Baker, right or wrong, when he threw Myles Garrett under the bus, but then this past week defended Freddie Kitchens, I'm really done with you. Done. Do I want to see the Browns do well? Yeah.
That's a puppet move.
Yeah, well, whatever the case may be, man. Listen. Put a micro. I done been doing this for quite some time, man, and I don't say that in a braggadocious kind of way, but you know, guys here, the local Les Levine, Terry Pluto, I mentioned, but Bill Livingston. So I done been around in the meeting rooms and the interview rooms and all of that. Put a microphone under my chin. What come out of my mouth is my choice. You see what I'm saying? You could have said anything. Hey, man, you know what, man? I got to watch the tape first. You know, and just say anything, man. Anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I roll with cats, and I would do the same for you and anybody else. If I roll with you, I don't like what you doing or what you done did, but right in the moment, I'm be like, hey, man, no. Let's squash this right now. Whatever. I'm gonna say whatever I can to say, whatever I can say to not really pick a side in the moment. But when we get back to the locker room, we're like, man, come on, man. Come on, man. You can't be doing that type of, you know. But to the media, to them folks who ain't got your best interest at all, you know what I'm saying? Like Mary Kay that came out and asked the question, Mary Kay Cabot, if you know her. Anyway, came out and asked, I don't know who was asked about the T-shirt or something that Freddie Kitchens was wearing or something or another. No, I'm sorry. Asked Baker about the T-shirt or something she asked him about. And I put a post up on Facebook because Mayfield's wife had a response to Mary Kay Cabot. And see, if you know her story here, it's a lot of stuff that's not being said about her from players and so on and so forth because they don't want no backlash and so on. I understood where Baker Mayfield's wife was coming from, and I agree with her. She was like, look, why you ain't just talk about the game? Why you lead with that? You get what I'm trying to say? Because you really don't want to. You're looking for something just to keep some stuff started. Man, I'm tired. I used to be in these circles, man. I had to get out of it. I got ousted from a show here because, you know what I'm saying, you know, they said I was confrontational and I was a radical and all that kind of stuff. That's what they say about you when you're telling the truth. You get what I'm saying? And I ain't saying nothing. The stuff I was saying to them at the time, it was not something I conjured up in my head. I had stuff on paper that they said they didn't say, and I presented it to them, and they went to a commercial. Okay, yeah, that's what I do here. Am I the best? Nope, but I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring it. Brother Rich, Brother Rich, you got to tell y'all, you got to let them know how we used to do it in the shop, man. You had how we used to do it in the shop. Right. Oh man, we used to use it. You can't. No, it's like a street ball, hard hitting. You had to bring, but everybody's opinions was and stuff was respected. Man, it was family, like it should be in the barbershop. Man, that's why I started this like this. You know, that's why I call it the shop report, man. Not to go off on no long soliloquy or nothing. But the shop is the barbershop and beauty shops or whatever. They the cornerstone of every community. It's our country club. You see what I'm saying? A lot of stuff that you hear and don't see on the TV, you're not gonna hear. You come to the shop, man. It's gonna be a whole different tone. You see what I'm saying? But the stuff is real. Mm-hmm. You know, come on, man. You know, like a true competitor type stuff. But in that shop, I mean, we were privy to or blessed with, however you want to put it. You know what I'm saying? The guy who owns it went to school with Charles Oakley and my cousin. They cut in there. So we had, and Brother Rich used to come in there, Chris Broussard. We had access to the folks y'all see on TV every day. They used to come through the shop. Am I lying, Brother Rich? Okay. You see what I'm saying?
Not at all.
At all. So,
No,
and I can't speak for everybody's shop, but that shop, it used to be standing, I can't say it enough, it used to be standing room only. Standing, and then put one folks in there, they wasn't even coming to get a cut. They was coming there for the conversation and the debate. But you had to know your stuff. Otherwise, you would
Sabathia.
CC Sabathia, yeah, yeah. Or you would get chewed up and spit out. You see what I'm saying? So it's a science for me, man. You know, and I'm not as sharp as I used to be. You know what I mean? You know, and it is what it is. You know, I'm not as young as I used to be either. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I respect everybody's opinion, man, and so on and so forth. But you know, because my thing is, whatever come out your mouth, I'm looking to learn something from you. I want to be able to come away, even at 50, I want to be able to say, okay, well, you know what, man, that dude, man, he had a good point. But if you come out your mouth with some water cooler, I'm going to let you have it. I'm going to let you have it. You're going to get it. Because, see, I feel like Sean Porter, and then we're going to get out of here on this one here, this last one here. But I feel like Sean Porter, when I asked him way back when he was training at Gold's Gym here in Bedford Heights, and I asked him that whole conversation about steroids when Manny Pacquiao was allegedly on steroids, because he did some sparring with Manny Pacquiao, believe it or not. And I asked him, I said, man, you know, how you know that? He said, man, I'm going to be salty if I found out the dude I just got out the ring with was on something. And I put the work in. And I feel the same way.
Right.
I got books and stuff. I got stuff stacked up. I read and read and read and read and read. So if you're a Googler, I'm gonna get you. Don't come for my neck if you're a Googler, or if you somebody who get your opinions from ESPN and Stephen A. Smith and all of them or whatnot. If you don't know how to watch them and discern from left from right, if you got your shoes on the wrong feet, you're gonna wish you hadn't. I got a sharp tongue. I'm gonna let you have it. Now, if you want to have that, take that stance, then go across the street with it. That's cool. I ain't mad at you. But if you come to me with it, oh yeah, I'm gonna test your skills. I'm going to test your know-how. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, this last notable game, or team performances, I like to say. Brother Rich, we'll get your thoughts right quick, and then, of course, we'll go around the table. Unfortunately, we lost Gully. I meant to mention that to the folks earlier. We lost Gully. He had to drop out. And I appreciate him joining us for the time that he was here. The Texans beat the Patriots in somewhat of a surprise to me.
Hey, man.
Man,
I almost cried.
Hold on. Let Brother Rich say. What does this say, Brother Rich, about both teams heading into the playoffs, in your estimation?
Well, I think it told us we talked about this before with those three young quarterbacks. We talked about Deshaun Watson. We talked about Lamar Jackson
and Russell Wilson.
We talked about Mahomes.
Yeah, Mahomes.
We talked about Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
We talked about the young. We are seeing the changing of the guard. So that game was indicative of that. We're seeing the changing of the guards now. Tom is on his way out, and the new crop. They're here like in the days of basketball, going at Jordan, going at the Lakers, going at Magic, They're going at this. Tom Brady is the symbol of what it means to be the consummate professional quarterback. And these young quarterbacks, every time they get a chance, they're going at him. And so you got to respect that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because Deshaun Watson did say, hey, man, I had to get me one before he get out of here. You know what I'm saying? I had to get one against him. Yeah,
they got to get it. They got to be able to say, I beat him. Absolutely. You got to do that. You got to do that.
Yeah, Double J, what say you about that, man? You surprised by that, the Texans over the Patriots? And what did that say about them both, going ahead into the playoffs?
I want to give them, Houston all the credit, that they deserve, because, again, they did win the game. But, before I write off Tom Brady and say he should retire and he looks like Peyton Manning in his final season, that team's 10-2. And I get it that they've lost to two incredible quarterbacks and two incredible teams. But to quote that gentleman from the undefeated Miami Dolphins, don't call me when they're in my city, call me when they're on my block. And what I mean by that is when they beat him
in January
Yeah.
and in February,
Yeah.
then
let's
we
have
can
this conversation.
start running
Yeah.
the end to the story.
Yeah.
But I feel like time and time again, we get the overreaction from this. And if anybody's great at making adjustments in these winner-take-all games,
It's Bill
Bill
Belichick.
Belichick.
Yeah. But let me ask you this question right
Right.
quick. Let me ask you this, though. You talking about on my block, and until these other guys beat him in January, well, what does that then say about Eli Manning, who beat him twice?
Look.
Oh.
That's the enigma.
2 times Double
Pure
J.
luck.
First time is you're a victim. Anytime after that, you're a volunteer. Second time ain't no mistake now. And wait a minute, Doc. Before you say anything,
Luck.
which one was the one where the Patriots were undefeated? Was it the second one?
The first one.
It was the first one. The first one, the Patriots were
Yeah,
undefeated.
the first one.
Okay, all right. I'm just saying.
Yep.
Because them 72 Dolphins was sitting by the TV watching that game. But go ahead, Doc. Go ahead. But I'm with
It
you,
was
Double
a
J.
fluke.
I get you, but I did ask that question. But go ahead, Doc.
I feel like it was a fluke, man, because the game they lost, it was like 4th and 15 or something like that, and they could have kicked the field goal to make it 17-10. And, of course, the Giants go down and do what they do. They end the game at 17-17. But Bill Belichick got the big head, decided to go for it, ended up not getting it. Next couple plays, Eli throws the ball down the field, and what happens? The guy catches it on his gosh darn helmet. And it's like, man,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so worried how we kicked that field goal.
Yeah.
Then the following year, they just didn't show up. They came out, they played like they didn't want it. Receivers was dropping passes. Tom Brady wasn't making the most accurate passes. That's because he was getting rushed. And, in order to beat Tom Brady, you got to at least put a pinky.
Get him
on
off his
it.
spot.
Once you hurry Tom Brady up,
Yeah, you got to get him off his spot.
you got to get him off his game. You got to knock him down. I mean, you ain't got to knock him down every time. But just put a little elbow on his helmet or something. Or, blow your breath on him as you run by. He going to feel that pressure.
Yeah.
He's been like that since he messed up that knee. That year he tore his ACL or something like that, and the backup had to come in and still 11-12 in 4 seasons, by the way.
Oh,
It
yeah.
might have been 11-5.
11-5, I think it was.
The backup didn't do too bad, but after that,
Yeah. And you know what's interesting? I guess.
after that, he started.
Go ahead.
Huh?
No, I just you made me think
I
of
was
something.
saying, after that,
Yeah, when Matt Castle actually was the 11-5, but everybody
Yeah,
talk
that
about
was
the
Matt
system
Castle,
and all
yeah.
of that kind of stuff, and I'm thinking, well, if it ain't Brady, but it's the system, and I ain't saying Belichick don't have a system because he do, but if it was such the system, then how come Ryan Mallett didn't have no success? But anyway, go ahead. As you said, after that, what happened now?
after that, every time somebody would get close to him, he'd start to, flinch because I think that knee injury kind of scarred him because that was his first major injury that he's had. So after that, he just started, getting real nervous when people come when that pocket starts to collapse.
Well,
he might try to run, but he ain't getting nowhere.
Well, I tell you what, having had 2 severe knee injuries myself, yeah, I feel him on that.
Yeah.
All day, every day.
So I can see why he hurries up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all good. We will see.
I can understand it. And Tom Brady said himself that this year, this is the worst offense he's had in a long time.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, again, I'm with you. That championship medal, the Patriots are well documented when it comes to championship moments, whether it be the AFC Championship or the Super Bowl or whatever the case may be, And we give credence to anybody else that done won championships before. We give them the benefit of the doubt. But I agree, like Double J said, until you beat him in January, I guess for the most part it's just all talk, right? Fellas, I appreciate y'all today. It was all good stuff. And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening. Don't forget to check us out right here on the Spreaker.com network. You go to Spreaker, of course, and type in Shop Report in the search box. Go to the search box, type in the Shop Report. Or you can check us out on our Facebook fan page. You can go there and leave comments, questions, or subscribe. Twitter, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and now tune in. And please, while you're there, give us a follow and subscribe. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. Did I say a lot right there? I think I just did. And, of course, you can always send us an email to shopreport365@gmail.com. And you know what my next line is, right? If that don't work, Google it. For my mans Be Rich up on the AKA side of the New York City thing in the Rucker Park. My man up north, Double J. And to the Doc. And all those who follow us and support us, we say thank you.
Man.
Yeah, all day, every day. I'm Barbershop Jay, and you've been listening to the Shop Report. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, man, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. Holla.